Some people are only prepared to invest in where they live. That was Graham's story. He lived in Melbourne. He wasn't prepared to invest outside Melbourne. And I like to tell you these stories because when you can see what happened in what space of time, I find it an inspiration personally. You can relate to things in your own life. For Graham, it wasn't so much him, it was actually his wife who wasn't prepared to invest outside Melbourne. And that meant that there were only certain types of strategies that suited a large metro area. So he was restricted in the type of strategies. This particular strategy, for $330,000, he bought a distressed property. He spent $34,000 on, I say reno, but it was a little bit more than that. But he only spent $34,000 on it and turned it into a positive cash flow of $15,600. Nice little property in the middle of Melbourne with good capital growth on it as well. So, you think about it for yourself. You could do that in Brisbane. You could do that in Brisbane right here, right now. So, with that, how many of those then do you need to replace your income? Start thinking about that, and what that means and equity and that kind of stuff. Here's another one of Jason's properties. This one here is a little property that they were doing. This is one of their joint venture deals that they did along the side while they were tied up, were doing their own property investing and things like that. So in this particular case, it's a no money down deal for them. They were doing a joint venture with another student who they only met that student at one of my boot camps. So just hanging with like-minded individuals changes your mindset. It changes your parameters. It changes the way you think, and it changes the goals that you actually set for yourself and what is achievable. In this particular case, 12 weeks was a little reno. It was just a reno and an on-sell, via the JV. The profit was $80,000 for a 12 weeks work. Now, in this particular case, Amy actually did most of this work. I don't think Jason did too much, but... Oh, you were painting, were you? I'm going to tell a story on you. Jason, bless his soul, that little property that he did out in Narrandera in 6 hours west of Sydney, part of it was a little bit of a renovation he had to do, so he had to go and learn how to paint. Jason's never done any, physical work like that before. So he goes down to the hardware store, buys a paintbrush to paint the roof. And I don't know whether the hardware store guy was having a lend of him or not, but he sold him a paintbrush that was this wide.
I can guarantee you he was taking the lender, yeah?
Jason painted a roof with a paintbrush this wide. But look where he is now. Anyway, when you work out the hourly rate that these pairs spent on this particular property, for the profit that they made, they made $40,000 and the joint venture partner made $40,000. For the profit they made, their hourly rate was $3,000 an hour.